All right, so get this. Someone requested we do a deep dive on this new terror bird discovery.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going back millions of years to when South America was basically ruled by giant killer birds.
Oh, yeah. Some of the most impressive predators ever.
Yeah, so not like your average hawk or eagle. We're talking about like giant flightless birds that could probably give a T-Rex a run for its money.
Oh, absolutely.
So we've got some research papers here, hot off the press, and I'm really excited to dig into this with you.
Yeah, this is cool. This is cool. I love terror birds.
You said who doesn't, right?
Yeah, they really are fascinating. These terror birds, or vracids as they're known in the scientific world, they really challenge our perceptions of what a bird can be.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't paleontologists, break it down for us. What exactly is a terror bird?
So basically picture this, right? The apex predators of their time.
Okay.
They were flightless.
Okay.
Which, might seem odd for a bird, but
yeah.
that allowed them to develop like these incredibly powerful legs and sharp hooked beaks.
Oh.
So we're talking about birds that could stand anywhere from 3 to 9 feet tall, built for speed and hunting.
So like a prehistoric ostrich with a bad attitude?
Pretty much, yeah.
I wouldn't want to run into that on my morning jog.
No, neither would I. And speaking of encounters, this latest discovery in Colombia, this is really what's shaken things up in the paleontology world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they found a fossilized leg bone in the Tatacoa Desert. And based on its size, it's thought to belong to a terror bird that's even larger than any we found before.
Hold on, Tatacoa Desert? That's pretty far north, isn't it? I thought most terror bird fossils were found further south in South America.
You're exactly right, and that's what makes this find so exciting.
Wow.
It pushes the boundaries of what we knew about their geographical range, suggesting they are much more widespread than we previously thought.
Wow.
This particular fossil dates back to the Miocene epoch, about 12 million years ago.
Okay, so Miocene epoch, just so everyone can picture this, we're talking about a way before humans, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, way before humans.
Okay.
And back then, the Tatacoa Desert, it wasn't a desert at all.
What?
Yeah, imagine this, right? A lush tropical environment.
Oh, wow.
With rivers winding through it, teeming with all sorts of incredible creatures.
Like what?
So we're talking primates, hoofed mammals, giant ground sloths, even like armadillo relatives the size of a small car called glyptodonts.
What? So like a prehistoric zoo?
Basically, yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, so even in a landscape that diverse, though, the terror bird still must have been a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, without a doubt. This new terror bird, based on the size of that leg bone, could have been 5 to 20% larger than the previous record holders.
Wow.
And to put that into perspective, some terror bird species could already tower over a human.
Oh my God.
This new find could have been even bigger.
So we're talking like eye to eye with this thing.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
That would be terrifying.
It would. And you know what's even more interesting is the fossil itself actually tells a fascinating story about the kind of fierce competition that existed back then. There are teeth marks on the leg bone.
Oh, wow.
Most likely from a giant caiman called Prehistoric.
Wait, a caiman. How big are we talking?
I'm not talking your average backyard pond dwellers.
Okay.
Prehistoric could grow up to 30 feet long.
What?
So picture a crocodile, right?
Yeah.
But amped up to monstrous proportions.
Okay, now that is a clash of the titans. I would love to have seen that. A giant bird versus a prehistoric super croc.
It really does make you wonder what went down between those two.
Yeah.
The terror bird, it probably lost this particular encounter, but the bite marks, they're like a testament to this intense struggle for survival that would have been happening in that ancient ecosystem. It's a reminder that even at the top of the food chain, life was far from easy.
It's fascinating to me. We're talking about these creatures that are long gone, but in a way their legacy kind of lives on.
Well, for sure.
Are there any modern birds that give us like a glimpse into what these terror birds might have been like?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So while terror birds themselves are extinct, they do have a modern relative called the Siriema.
Oh, cool.
Found in South America. It's a smaller bird, but it shares some characteristics with its ancient ancestors, particularly those long, powerful legs that are built for running.
So even though these giants aren't roaming the earth anymore, there's still echoes of them out there.
Exactly, yeah.
That's pretty cool. But this new discovery also raises a ton of new questions, doesn't it?
It does.
What else might be waiting to be uncovered in the Tatacoa Desert?
It really is like opening a door to a lost world.
Yeah.
This single fossil is just a piece of the puzzle. And there's so much more we can learn about the terror bird and its role in this ancient ecosystem.
It really makes you wonder what other incredible creatures might be out there just waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely. And each new find has the potential to rewrite our understanding of the past, pushing the boundaries of what we thought we knew about life on Earth millions of years ago.
Yeah,
It's really exciting.
it is. So it's like we're putting together this prehistoric detective story, right?
Yeah.
One fossil at a time. And it's not just about the terror bird itself, right?
Yeah.
It's about understanding this whole ecosystem, this intricate web of life that existed back then.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. It's about like seeing how these animals interacted, how they adapted to their environment, and ultimately, what led to their extinction.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. We know these terror birds were apex predators, but obviously they're not around anymore.
Right.
So what were some of the factors that might have led to them biting the dust?
Well, there are a few theories. Climate change is always a big one.
Right.
As environments shifted and, temperatures fluctuated,
Yeah.
it could have impacted their prey sources or made it hard for them to thrive.
So even these like giant predators weren't immune to the forces of nature.
Exactly. And then, there's also competition.
Right.
Remember that Prehistoric, the giant caiman we talked about?
Another 30-foot crocodile. You don't want to mess with that.
No, those guys were formidable predators too.
Right.
So competition for resources, territory, even just survival would have been fierce. It's possible that, other predators or even just changes in the types of prey that were available played a role in the terror bird's decline.
It really goes to show how interconnected everything is in an ecosystem.
Oh, absolutely.
One small change can have ripple effects throughout the whole food chain.
For sure. So let's do like a little thought experiment here.
Okay.
Imagine for a moment that terror birds hadn't gone extinct.
Okay.
What if they were still around today?
Okay. Wow, now that's a scary thought. It would be like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It would, wouldn't it?
Giant birds roaming the countryside.
Yeah, it would certainly change the landscape, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, for sure.
On the one hand, they were incredibly well-adapted predators, perfectly designed for hunting.
Yeah.
Imagine the impact that they could have on, existing ecosystems.
Could you imagine running into one of those things in the wild? I don't think bear spray would cut it. But seriously, would they be a threat to humans, do you think?
It's hard to say for sure, of course.
Right.
But given their size and their predatory instincts, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. They would definitely be a force to be reckoned with.
But they would also serve a valuable role, right?
Yeah.
In the ecosystem. I mean, just like any other predator, they would help keep populations in check and maintain that balance.
That's a really good point. Every creature has its place in the web of life, and the extinction of a top predator like the terror bird would have had, cascading effects on its environment.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about how even millions of years later, we're still learning from these creatures and understanding their impact on the world.
Yeah, and it really highlights, the importance of conservation efforts today.
Right.
Protecting existing ecosystems and the incredible diversity of life that they support is crucial.
Yeah.
We don't want to see any more fascinating creatures disappear from our planet.
Well said. So from a giant fossilized leg bone to, hypothetical scenarios of terror birds in the modern world, this deep dive has really given us a lot to chew on.
It has.
What's been the most mind-blowing part of this for you?
For me, it's the sheer scale of these birds.
Yeah.
To think that creatures like that once roamed the earth, it's just awe-inspiring. It really puts things into perspective.
It does. It's a reminder that the world we know today is just a snapshot in time. A tiny blip in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder what else is out there, what other secrets are still buried waiting to be discovered.
Yeah.
What other creatures might be hidden in the fossil record.
It really is humbling, isn't it?
Right.
We often think of ourselves as, the dominant species on the planet.
Right.
But when you look at the fossil record, it shows us that, we're really just like a small part of a much larger story. There were so many fascinating creatures that came before us, each with its own unique journey.
It's our responsibility then to uncover those stories, right?
Absolutely.
To piece together the fragments of the past.
Yeah.
And understand how they've shaped the world we live in today. It's like we're solving this giant puzzle one discovery at a time.
Exactly. And who knows what mysteries are still waiting to be solved.
Yeah.
I mean, every new fossil has the potential to rewrite our understanding of the past and challenge our assumptions about, life on Earth.
So let's bring it back to the listener who requested this deep dive, on the terror bird.
Yeah.
What are some of the key takeaways here?
So we started with this single fossilized leg bone, right? A clue that pointed to a terror bird species even larger than any we'd known before.
Yeah.
And from that one bone, we were able to like journey back millions of years
Yeah.
to this lost world, this vibrant ecosystem teeming with all these incredible creatures. We saw, giant birds and enormous crocodiles battling for supremacy.
It's crazy.
And we explored this delicate balance of life that existed in that ancient environment.
It's a powerful reminder that the world is constantly changing, evolving over millions of years. Creatures come and go, ecosystems shift and transform, but the story of life marches on.
It really does. And while we may never fully understand the complexities of the past, each new discovery brings us one step closer to like unlocking the secrets of our planet's history.
Yeah.
It's a journey of exploration and wonder, and it's one that never truly ends.
So the next time you see a bird, soaring through the sky, maybe take a moment to think about its ancient relatives, those giant terror birds that once ruled the land. It's a reminder that the world we know today is just a fleeting moment in time. And with that, we'll leave you with one final thought to ponder. If terror birds were still alive today, what impact would they have on our world? Would they be a threat or a valuable part of the ecosystem? It's something to think about as you continue your own exploration of the natural world. Until next time, keep diving deep.